Welcome back, everybody, to the second half. Fractured Orders. Glad y'all could be here. Been some tense moments. About to get even a little bit more tense, but we're going to change it up a little bit.
Are meant to be like super hardy and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they have that.
Oh yeah. Like
Something like hard-headed on that as well, right?
Yeah.
oh, what's that? When staggered or disoriented, perform hard head action. Oh, that's cool.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hope y'all had a great break. You got a drink and went to the bathroom and
I didn't
got some
move,
food. Well, okay, then that's
and now I need to pee.
your decision. Anyway, welcome back. Before we find out what happens to Mouse, or I should say how fast Mouse can run, I want to talk to Dash for a second.
Yes.
Because Dash has been woefully ignored. Not by choice. There's been a lot of things going on.
It's fine.
That's what happens when you guys split a party into 5 separate stories.
Look, okay, you gave us all these 5 dudes, and there were 5 of us.
No, true. It's my fault. I'll take full blame for it. You all have to live with the consequences, though. So there you go.
No, that's fine.
So Dash, after Monica gives you her contact information, or I should say, she didn't actually even give it to you. She had it sent over to you via the waiter that was helping you at the cafe. And for a moment, I don't know what your immediate reaction is, but the immediate reaction is interrupted by this high-speed pursuit that comes careening over your head. And then you hear all of the chatter between all of the rest of the groups and what they're doing and what's going on with them. What is your next step? What next step do you take? Understanding that, like, your whole intention here was Monica Akula is being accused by the Slicer of corruption and, like, essentially pushing some alternative agenda through the, like, judicial system of the planet and making it generally, like, a bad, not so good place to live, but doing so behind kind of this political / legal barrier where it's not, what she's doing is not really against any laws or anything. But it definitely, to the Slicer and company, seems immoral that she's influencing and using her power for not the greatest of things.
He's gonna do what he does best when he's not on a ship. He's gonna wing it at best.
Good. So do you how long do you wait before you call her or send her a message?
Well, the thing is, from what happened to what happened between everyone else, how much time would you say has passed?
It could be any amount of time. You could do so, like, the next day.
No, we could say like an hour or something. I don't know.
Sure, like an hour later.
I mean,
where do we find
could
Dash
say,
an hour later?
Well, he could possibly have gone back to his ship,
Sure.
and it's like maybe he's tried to listen, like, on I guess second-hand accounts, because he doesn't know how to find people that know what that ship is. He just knows the model of the ship and just knows, oh, I heard TIE fighters, so something's going on there. So maybe he checked that one console that reported the where the report of.
Yeah, you go check the news console, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that when you do that, there's a story running that is, I mean, obviously it's the breaking news story. It has, like, video from the building across the street from the archives. In fact, I would say that as you're like watching the video from like the news reports or like the people who are taking said video on their devices that they have, while Star Wars is not quite as bad about that as everything else like modern day is, I think you probably see that, you know, there's like a bunch of injured DDF police officers who are like being treated, and the story flashes to, like, you see the YT-1300 like not landing on the roof but like taking off and like flying away. The news anchor probably reports that there have been multiple sightings throughout the city as they made their chase, and it probably says that like it appears that the culprits haven't like left the system yet. They're still on planet somewhere, but they've managed to evade the DDF forces. In addition to that, they're like offering a reward for any information leading to the capture of these individuals. They don't have a whole lot of description, but it also lists the fact that, and this is probably a previously unknown fact to you or the rest of the group, it lists a fact that it appears that some of the DDF ships were taken out by an unidentified starfighter that had seemed to be in connection with the fleeing YT-1300.
If Dash doesn't know better, that would be the TIE Fighter. Or did you say TIE Fighters?
The TIE Fighters were pursuing the ship.
Okay.
The DDF uses TIE Fighters. In fact, most like civilian defense forces probably use TIE Fighters nowadays because they're, as Z said earlier, they're so plentiful and mass produced that that they're very easy to get their hands on. Even 500 years later.
I guess Dash would know that. I guess. I forgot that you said multiple, not one. Anyway. So the next course of action would try and contact Monica through her contact information. Just as he gets in his ship, he kind of like thinks over like, what could he say? How could he handle this? Because that smile and that look could have cost him a shrug or worse, a suspicion. But he currently has her interested, and he might try and use that because, well, let's say he's never really been a person that kind of like wants to investigations and all that. So I guess for him, maybe he's got like, what would Zion, what would Kim, what would Mouse, and what would Jax do? But then again, he realizes, I don't care what Mouse does, she'd probably just like hide like a coward or something due to his still grudge. That's an inside thought, but he decides to I guess maybe charm his way through to her, maybe be like, you know, maybe if you're doing some corrupt stuff, since you're into politics, you should stop because that can get you in trouble. Like, hint that she might be stepping in deep water, but then again, would she listen to someone that she doesn't know and who doesn't know her? I could potentially just like play off, I'm just this like scoundrel pilot guy from Corellia and just like tease her because of some random reason, nothing connected to him, he's just like there. So maybe he could play off like, whatever happens, it's not his problem, so he could just maybe
when you
try something out of her, or
when you contact her, what do you start with? Because there were some things in there that might be interesting if you said them to her.
Well, I could say that it's just a good time because she's not like arrogant
so
about it.
you wait till like after business hours, right?
Sure.
So that, because I mean, she works at a pretty like she works for the government, right? So she probably can't do much while still at work. But once once completed with work, so you give it a second, and then, or you give it a few hours and for the business day to be over, and you give her a call, and she answers, like the comm signal. She's hello, this is Monica.
Hello, Monica. I'm sorry if I didn't come and talk to you. I didn't know if someone randomly walking up to your temple would be, let's say, out of the blue.
You're the cute boy from lunch, huh?
Yep, same one.
Well, at least you're humble, I guess.
I try.
I didn't expect you to call so soon. Normally boys wait at least a day before they call me.
Well, I have nothing to do, so question is, what do you want to do with this chance meeting of two what was that chance? This chance meeting of two glances.
I think she laughs kind of like a light, higher pitched laugh, and she says, huh, well, I haven't eaten yet.
Well, then I guess I take you out to dinner, but I don't know if I'm in my league of credits. Kind of like saying, like, in a way, saying, like, she doesn't know she prefers fancy or, like street stuff, so it's like...
Yeah, so I think she says, oh, I see, you're not arrogant, you're just honest.
Well, I'm not rich, but I get by.
Well, how about I pick the place and we'll treat ourselves? How's that sound?
Alright, I'll maybe try to pay the bills when, if I could. I mean, I at least will not do that because, I mean...
Yeah, I think that's...
I wouldn't like to seem cheap, but then again...
Yeah, no, I think that, I think that she just laughs again, and she probably says, yes, well, how about you meet me at the Meadows? And she begins giving you, like, directions to there, and she says, if you get lost, you can simply just find a public terminal that should be able to direct you over there. And don't worry, it's not that expensive.
I find a way. Thanks, so, I guess I'll see you there, Monica.
Yes, and what was your name again?
It's Dash.
Dash. Huh. Alright, I'll see you there.
See you there, then. He cuts the communication and he kind of like stills like, he kind of like sits in the lounge area for a second, then just like sighs and says like, hope this doesn't turn out bad. And he goes off to this location.
Okay.
And he does happen to get lost because he's not good with directions, so
sure,
he'll be a few minutes late.
So you're gonna be fashionably late. Okay.
Fashionably late.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, makes perfect sense to me. So as you head off in that direction, I think maybe we should go back to Mouse.
Yeah, that's fine.
For just a moment. So Mouse,
Hello.
the safe opens, the water from the shower turns off, and you turn, you kind of look, right, and eyes go wide, and then you turn back, and in the safe you can see there are a couple of items. There appears to be a set, a diamond, or not diamond, probably some ornate gemstone set of a necklace and a bracelet, like combo. And there appears to be that in there. There appears to be some other, like a small jewelry box that maybe holds and contains some other valuable items. There appears to be like a manila envelope of documentation. It doesn't have any markings or anything on it. There appears to be a data device, like a storage device, that is small. It's probably not too large. Probably doesn't store a whole lot. And then I think the last thing that's in there. There appears to be like a small canister that has on its it has a couple of labels on the outside that you recognize as like flammable, corrosive. Like it's clearly like a container of some sort of substance, and around the canister is like a stabilization mechanism so that the canister doesn't like get jostled around. Right, yeah, like if you picked it up, it would kind of make it so that it doesn't get jostled around.
Okay. I want the manila envelope and I want the data device.
Okay. All right.
I don't care about any of the jewelry or anything.
Okay.
I also don't really want to carry around that explosive, corrosive thing.
Yeah.
Just for not melting's sake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you grab the data device, you grab the like envelope of documents. What do you do?
I'd like to close the safe.
Okay.
As quietly as possible.
Okay, yeah. So
you also hide away the stuff that I got.
Yeah. Like, so instead of doing the like grab it and run, you're gonna do the just be very very quiet. Hopefully she doesn't hear anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So why don't you roll me a stealth check? It's gonna be average. It's gonna be an average check, but I'm gonna add a black dice here simply because of the fact that you're under quite a bit of strain here to do things particularly quiet. But it's just average because in this sense, like she's not expecting you to be here, right? She's not looking for you.
Yeah. So. I'm gonna flip light side point because this is one of those situations where like I kind of need this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
flip it.
There we go.
Nice.
And then I'll stealth.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
I definitely think taking the strain here is appropriate, but I think that with so many successes, not only do you close the safe and make it so like it doesn't click, because like if you ever close the safe, those handles are loud as shit, man. Like they're just so loud. They're like clunk clunk, but you're able to do it delicately and silently. And then you even like you move the painting back and like connect it into place, and then you kind of just like meld into the wall. Now, the bathroom doesn't connect directly to the bedroom. It's connected like to the hallway outside. And as you get to that point, like where you're kind of like sneaking through the bedroom and like get to the doorway where you can see the door to the bathroom, you can hear that Paola appears to be like just doing something like maybe she's putting some makeup on or she's rustling around in the bathroom. She doesn't appear to be like exiting at the exact moment. So what is your method of escape here?
I actually wasn't planning on escaping because I do kind of want to talk to her.
Okay.
But I do want to make it so that my presence, like I wasn't trying to like sneak around. Like I want to make my presence seem like I wasn't like lifting stuff up and moving stuff around and things like that.
Okay. But you want to be inside the apartment when she comes out.
Yeah, because I wanted to talk to her. That's kind of why I entered the apartment without announcement.
Okay.
I didn't think she was going to be in the shower. Because I already kind of knew she was a...
And we learned that Mouse was a massive pervert.
Well, I kind of already knew she was kind of like an introvert or whatever, so I figured she was going to be there.
But you didn't care.
Yeah. All that. What you just said. Anyway. So, I guess I, like, find the living room and I just kind of, like, sit down on the couch and wait for her.
Perfect. So, I think that the first incident that occurs here is she probably comes out of the bathroom. Her hair's up in a towel, right? She's got a towel, like, wrapped around her, and she enters into the bedroom and doesn't notice you at first, right?
Right.
So you're like sitting there. Are you like flipping through a magazine or like just like looking, like scrolling through your communication device or?
Yeah. I mean something like that, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of passing time.
Cool. So she goes in the bedroom and the door doesn't close and she puts on all of her clothes and she comes out and she's pulling her hair out of the towel wrap, right? And like. She walks out. She sees you, this little Deveronian woman sitting on the couch.
I wave at her.
flipping through her magazine. You wave at her, and she kind of like looks, and then she turns around. She goes back into her bedroom without saying a word, and she comes back out, and she's putting her glasses on.
Yeah.
She can't see without them.
I wave at her again.
So you wave at her again, and then all of a sudden she just screams. Like, the towel drops to the floor. She screams.
Wait.
She
Hold on,
backs
hold
up
on.
into the bedroom and
Wow.
like slams the door
Mouse, you
closed.
sly dog.
And you hear the the lock clicking into place frantically.
Dang it. Hey, wait, I'm not here to hurt you. Actually, I'm here for the opposite.
Go-
There's like
Take
a
whatever you
bounty
want.
hunter.
Take whatever you want out of the house. Just don't hurt me, please.
I don't want to take anything, and I'm not gonna hurt you.
Just leave me alone. You could all of my. I have jewelry. Do you want that?
No, I don't want the jewelry. I want to talk to you, Dr. Paula. Please.
You can hear her like freaking out, like crying in the bedroom. She's like,
My name-
what do you want? Take whatever you want. I have expensive things in the kitchen.
Look, my name's Mouse, and I think that there's somebody after you.
So I think that, like, for a moment, she kind of, like, there's a pause, and she's like, well, it's you.
No.
What are you doing in my house?
Well, I mean, yeah, I snuck into your house and everything, but I'm not actually the bounty hunter or assassin or whatever.
You're an assassin?
No, I'm not an assassin. I'm a mechanic, a scavenger.
Why does that make a difference? You're in my house.
I know.
I love the idea that I got home and someone's robbing me. I'm like, thief! He's like, no, I'm not a thief, mate. I'm a mechanic. oh, in that case, by all means, sir, go along with you. Go about your business.
Look, the thing is, I'm here because there is an assassin bounty hunter person that's targeting, like, people that you might know. And I'm
Is that supposed to make me feel better?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, I think that probably at this point I'm gonna require a roll of some sorts, because otherwise this is gonna be an infinite loop of her not believing you.
I know.
So
Mouse
you're
is really-
being honest, right? So it's probably not deception.
I think it's persuasion.
Yeah, persuasion. Well, so it'd be charm in this case,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not really negotiating either.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get anything out of it. You're just trying to.
This is gonna be disaster.
charm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be good because again, you didn't really set up a good
Can I just say
starting
that
moment here.
Mouse being the most timid and like shy
I'm sorry.
member of our crew probably has the highest body count and was the first one to see titties. So I'm just calling it right there. Toasty is playing a devious game.
I'm flipping a dark side point because
Yeah,
obviously
no.
there's room for bad to happen here.
Yeah.
On the
Um,
light side, that's a good idea.
I don't think so, because I only have one presence, and
Oh no.
I don't have any skill points in charm.
Oh no.
it's also I'm making it hard.
Oh,
And
no.
I think that I'm adding a black dice as well for the environmental pressure of she got out of the shower and there's a stranger in her house.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Why don't you go ahead and roll your charm
Also, she
whenever
dropped
you're
her
ready?
towel and then ran in, so her towel is in your room.
She's dressed now. She's
no,
decent.
she got dressed. Like, I let her get dressed and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You
no
let her get dressed.
Yeah, well,
I think you should.
I'd say at least get that 1 point because it would be useful maybe, I don't know.
Oh.
No, I don't think you need to take the strain from that.
yeah.
It's obviously a failure.
Yeah,
And I think that like you go back and forth for a bit, and eventually you like the conversation dies off, and like you're like, "Hello, are you there? Hello, right?"
Yeah.
And you hear she's whispering now,
Okay.
and she's like, "Yeah, somebody's in my apartment right
Oh
now."
no.
Yes, no, right away, please.
Look, I can see that you're busy. I just wanted to say that, like, you should watch yourself because there is an assassin person after you. So yeah, calling the police is probably a great idea. But uh, I'm gonna leave. Yeah, bye.
Yeah. So you just book it out of the you go down the service elevator again, I assume.
Yeah, probably the best. I mean, I have the schematics. Is there like another way besides these two elevators?
Those are the two entrances into this place right now, because there's got to be, excuse me, there's got to be a main entrance and then like an emergency egress, right?
Right.
So no, those are the only two ways. I mean, you could go out onto the balcony, right?
Um.
And then
No,
figure
'cause
out a
I
way
think-
to get down from there.
Yeah, I think I'll try that actually. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
try the balcony method.
Okay. So you go out the sliding door, right? It opens up for you onto the balcony, and you can tell it's a little bit breezy this high up. You're not quite as high as some of the tall skyscrapers, but you are looking out kind of over the cityscape a little bit. And you're probably, I think I said before, this is probably about like a 30-story-ish building.
Mhm.
When all is said and done. And so as you walk out there, you can see that there's the railing that kind of is all around the outside, and you can also see that there are like climbing down if you wanted to would be tricky, but it is definitely possible. If it's an attempt you wanted to make, it's not an impossible task. There also appear to be a bunch of, because this is, again, it's a city planet, right? There appear to be like a bunch of pipes and stuff that kind of run crisscrossing through the taller skyscrapers and stuff. Maybe if you could like get down onto one, you could go over to a different part of the like a different building or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like to climb down carefully. I think
Okay.
I have coordination.
Yeah, coordination
that-
would definitely it would be coordination or athletics, whichever one you were like trying to do.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like ninja flip down, so I'm
Right.
just gonna like carefully climb down
Okay.
in a way that won't get me, completely caught.
Yeah.
I assume it's gonna take a while for the police to show up anyway.
Well, yeah, they're a little busy right now. Like all of them are a little bit busy right now.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the explosion. I don't think I saw the ship. I think I was already inside,
Yeah.
but I did hear the explosion.
hmm
So, yeah, I'll try to coordinate myself down.
Okay. I'm making it an average check because again, you just have like it's not difficult to do. It's just it's more time that it's going to take.
Mhm.
But I'm adding a black dice because you don't really have tools or anything to do this with, right? Like you don't have like a grappling hook like Jax does or anything like that that's really going to assist you here. So I'm adding a black dice to it.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
Look,
Cool.
I got an
So-
advantage.
Reduce a strain because you're no longer being yelled at
Yeah.
by a frantic woman.
Uh-huh.
And as you begin to like scale your way down the side of the building, when you get about maybe like down to where like the pipes and stuff are like running all across, and there's like little like service walkways that kind of for mechanics and stuff to like work on them as they go to and from, you kind of like get down onto one of those things. I think then you hear sirens begin to like pull up outside of the building.
Right.
And you hear like the police are arriving, but you're far enough away now that you are removed from that. Although obviously there's gonna be a report done.
Yeah. Right.
So we'll
Small Deveranian women.
yeah, and they're that common. So
Right.
but yeah, so you are you're far enough removed from it that you're not like caught or anything, but you kind of have the freedom now to move about what you were doing or go to your next step. Is that to return to the safety of the group?
I think that's probably the best option at this point is
Okay.
to return to the ship.
Okay. So I think that it's probably best to perhaps fast forward a little bit at this juncture.
Yeah, I mean, who else does anybody else have anything that they're needing to do?
Yeah,
Like,
so it seems like everyone except for Dash is kind of like at that point where maybe we need to reconvene and pass along information that we found, right?
right.
The only other thing I did want to mention though is I want to talk to Zian for a moment before we get to that point.
Okay.
Because Zian, you were trying to get more and more information.
Yeah.
As it trickled in before you were, because eventually you would be like kind of not kicked out, but eventually you'd be like the actual physicians would show up and kind of negate your ability to do the task. And I'll use your success because you succeeded on a charm check, and that should be fair to use throughout the whole process. So I'm going to give you a couple of additional little bits of information. From what you can tell, it appears that there were between 5 and 6 individuals. Nobody's really sure because nobody ever saw them all at the same time. This woman in Mandalorian armor with the giant blaster rifle comes up a couple of times. This weird insectoid alien comes up a couple times. And yeah, mentions that like he uses this disruptor. And I think that another thing that comes up a couple times is
Sorry, what kind of alien?
So he's actually
Could I?
Is he one of those fly aliens?
I have to actually think about what he.
Alright, it's not important. I was just curious.
But I
Wanna
will.
talk about
Once you figure
the-
out, I do want to do a xenology to see if I can kind of peg the alien.
No,
Yeah.
dang it. Now you have to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody. So that's actually the thing is, people aren't really sure. It seems like he's not super common. Found the image. So this is how they describe him. In fact, I'll just put it in the chat. Folders for everything. Folders inside of folders.
Yet somehow not enough folders.
Always not.
Never enough. Never enough.
Folders
folders.
This is what he.
Oh.
What fucking space Skeletor?
Yeah, they describe him as insectoid or, perhaps some sort of reptilian race as well.
If Jax were to have come across this image, Jax's response would be, "We should find it and kill it."
Well, yeah, we'll see.
So,
Oh, racist.
was there anything else that I kind
Racist.
of discovered, or should I just go to the
Yeah, so the other
xenology
thing.
roll?
Let me get a. Why are you so? Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and roll xenology if you want. That may actually not have been the roll that I wanted you to make, but that's fine. I think I just would have taken away the black dice there.
Okay.
So take 2 strain, and you believe what they are describing. You believe they are describing a Barabel.
Oh, okay.
So they're enormously tall, they're reptilian, and described as almost indestructible, right? They're very hardy, and they're mostly well known for their tempers.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you gather from this.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. That being said, however, you also there's also one other thing that kind of maybe stands out to you is that a couple of the officers report that they were knocked unconscious by something unseen. Just as if they were like they were moving through the hallways, like trying to clear them out, and all of a sudden they felt something hit them in the back of the head, and they blacked out. Or some of the ones probably that you're treating, some of them have like scorch marks almost from like a stun baton. Or some of them have like, you can tell they still have like a twitch from like a strong electrical shock.
Okay.
And I think that the big thing you notice there, because you succeeded on your medicine check as well, the big thing you notice there as well is it all appears to be like very specific pressure points to whatever alien species you're treating at the time. Because it's not all humans, right? In the DDF, there are other species. But it seems like each time everyone describes something like that, their weak points, like their pressure points if they're humans, or like the largest cardiovascular regions for other species seem to be the most affected. So whatever that thing is seems to be precise.
Yeah. I don't think I can really try and figure that out without more info, despite probably knowing what it is out of character.
Right, and like one of the things is like that's kind of the distinctive thing about it, is there is like they're not sure, right? Like,
yeah.
They felt some pressure in their neck, and then all of a sudden they were passed out.
All right. So did we establish that we were going to meet somewhere before we went off on our own, or did we just figure we were going to calm each other and figure out where to go?
Upon leaving the police station, Jax would say, "Hey guys, I've got some information, but I'm heading back to the ship."
Yeah.
Probably just respond that I've got some info as well.
Well, I said it first.
Yeah, no, I think that like back to the Mouse, do you say I've got some information too?
Hey guys, I got information too.
Fuck off! This is my thing.
Also, I may be
you
wanted
guys
for
do other things.
Also, I may be wanted for home invasion now.
Also, I may be wanted for home invasion. Yeah.
And Dash, as he's walking to the place, she'll say, I'll get back to you guys. As he says nothing else.
I'll get back to you. I've got a hot date.
I don't say that.
Yeah, so Dash is still out on his information gathering mission. And I think that probably who's probably first? Kin, you're probably first to arrive back at the ship.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And followed by, I think, Jax, you're probably next.
Yeah.
So eventually, then probably Mouse is next, and Zian, I assume you're probably last because you probably stayed like extra long waiting for the trying to do the triage and all that other fun stuff.
And probably, talking to Unan and making sure she's okay and
traumatized
just,
by
like,
the experience.
running off without.
Everyone's having fucking sexual experiences other than me and Ken.
Yeah, and me.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Mouse, you had the most lewd moment of the party.
I mean,
We'll see
it
about
wasn't
that.
intentionally lewd.
Mine will be, probably. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. So with the four of you arriving back at the ship, we have our powwow number 52 or whatever we're on now. In whatever location we normally have it, which I always imagine, like, if this were on the Millennium Falcon, it's the little like canteen, like the little table / kitchen area.
Yeah, like a Serenity sort of.
Exactly.
I mean, we've seen the schematics. It's exactly the cantina in, like, kitchen dispenser thing. Place.
Exactly. It's where the food dispenser is and all that other fun stuff.
Yep.
So the four of you are in there. The ship smells faintly of cologne that Dash put on before he left.
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
I'll admit.
No, we don't
he
have
doesn't
any
lose
music. I thought.
Yeah, you destroyed the entire music system.
Yeah, no, it's
Fuck
it's
you.
deathly silent on the ship.
Yeah.
Kim will walk over to Mouse.
Seriously, right for fucking with my ship.
And just say, do you think we can make me some eyebrows? I think it looks weird without them.
You want eyebrows?
Oh.
Yeah, it looks so weird without them. Do I look that weird?
No?
My eyebrows. Oh
I
god.
mean, if you want eyebrows, I can make you eyebrows.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Maybe later.
Yes, I have information.
That requires eyebrows?
No.
Jax will take out a pen and offer to draw eyebrows on Kin for him.
Oh.
Kim will. Yes, I accept.
I accept your eyebrows.
All right.
You
Jax
give
is gonna
him
draw-
Angry or
no, yeah, you
Monster?
give him angry eyebrows, right? Like
Oh yeah, it's
Angry
definitely like the Nike logo,
yeah,
but like on either side.
yeah.
No, you give
the-
him like one Nike logo and one like, you know, like the rock eyebrows.
Oh yeah, like one straight line and then the Nike.
yeah, it's
Yeah. Definitely.
hold on, we're gonna find. Here it is, right here. Yep, there it is, right there. That's Kid now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, yes, perfect.
So, after that incident, Kin, you said you had information, right? You were gonna.
Yeah, so Kim will present his. I'm guessing I have a data pad
Yeah.
with some of his personal files.
Yeah, so he probably he didn't like business related stuff. He wasn't involved with Kellyanne in that way, but what he probably does give you is like probably like documentation on things that she had told him ever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a whole lot to do with like their relationship specifically, but like he probably compiled like a list of like things that he remembers from conversations that were had about what she did or like anyone that wanted to hurt her or anything like that.
Yeah. And Kim will also just mention, just to Mouse, if we wanted to embarrass him, this would be a good way. Just after we have done this.
Oh, okay.
Well, you say that, but did you actually tell them what happened? In?
Oh,
Yeah. I thought you told me off the side or something.
all right. I would just tell Mouse.
Oh, okay.
So you tell Mouse that the two were involved romantically, right?
Well, yeah, I would say that.
Because otherwise, that context of this would be easy to embarrass him with would not really make sense.
Yeah. Okay. So Kim will probably say, so Wilhelm was involved with Kellyanne, but not Amorado.
Wow.
So
That's
if
crazy.
we wanted to embarrass him, we could use that.
Yeah. Did you
I
tell
think we
everybody
need-
that? Just me.
Just you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
So I'm not sure. How do we just go through the information together and try to find?
Yeah. So
so-
one of you could
so
go
Jax-
through the information. But what do you say,
Yeah,
Jax?
Jax would take out the data pad that he has. Okay. I managed to get onto Amorato's computer and download all his files, but I wasn't really sure like the best way of sorting through it all or trying to find anything, so I just downloaded it all. I'd be hoping that either Mouse or Xian would have some kind of computery knowledge-y check that they can make to help kind of go through all that and find out something relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't have anything for that, but I'll point out that I believe the woman we met earlier was in an altercation with the local police force and fled in a YT-1300.
At that, Jax, you think you're talking about May or Mai? Mai.
Yes, the one with the large gun and the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah, that's Mai. Having heard that, Jax would kind of announce his suspicion that Amaretto is helping Arcana. So that would make so because obviously he doesn't know all the information about everyone else yet. So in his mind, it's like, oh, these people must be helping Arcanas, and that's why she wants them protected.
Mm-hmm.
So he would announce that was his theory.
Okay. So nobody seems connected yet, right?
Zian found a connection between the dead woman and the woman Dash is trying to seduce.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a connection to her and the guy that Ken went to.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe should we go through the policeman's files and see if there's a connection to Kellyanne?
I mean, I also have this, and I pull out a manila envelope and a data pad. I kind of got it from Paola's place. I took it from her safe.
Dax would just chuckle at that.
Just kind of raise an eyebrow.
Ken will do that as well.
Amazing.
I mean, I haven't read any of it yet, but it might have some good information.
So I guess, Jax, I'm happy to go through the files while maybe one of you guys goes through this data pad, and let's just see what we can find out.
Yeah.
So, does Ken need to get back to Wilhelm?
Well, that's up to you, because remember, he didn't necessarily want you following him around.
No,
but
I was thinking that
he wanted
something
you
happened,
to.
It would be good if I was there.
Yeah, he wanted you to at least like investigate, like look into Kellyanne's murder.
Yeah, all right, sure.
But yeah, you could absolutely go back to him if you wanted to. In fact, you could bring everybody else too. It doesn't matter.
I think I'll wait just to see figure out something.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. You have essentially 3 different sources of information, right? You have the information from Paola's house, you have the information from Amaranto's computer, and you have the information from like the records that, or I should say, the record of conversations that Wilhelm had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with those 3 pieces of information, I think that they all could be accessed a couple of different ways. Obviously, computers is probably a good check here to search through the digital evidence. But a couple of different things I think are going to happen. First of all, you look inside the manila envelope from Paola's place, and all of you are kind of looking at it, and you realize that it is it's essentially like a formulaic research paper that deals with some sort of chemical compound.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to figure out what that is, it's actually probably the closest thing available is going to be a medicine check to figure out what's going on there and what that is. The digital files from Amaranto's computer are obviously going to be a computer's check. And they're basically going to be computer's check not because looking through them requires good computer skill, but because organizing it to find things that you want to find is computers. And then I think for the rest of the information that you have, it's probably going to require more like logical connect the dots thinking. So I think in that case, probably a perception check for those, just to kind of put all of the pieces together.
Okay.
All right.
So I think Jax would want to do the perception
Yeah, I think-
style sleuthing. That's more his style.
I think Mouse could probably handle the computers.
Okay.
Obviously, I'll be
yeah.
on medicine check.
No, I think we should wait for Dash to come back and do the medicine check.
I'm sorry?
That was a joke. There's an awkward silence there.
So why don't we go ahead and go through this? So I think that the first I want to do is the medicine one. And I think that Zian is like, maybe you open it up, Mouse, and right, you're looking through it, and Zian, you recognize that it's some research paper about some chemical compound that you would be far more equipped. What do you say when you realize that?
Sorry, I think you cut out a little bit for me. What'd you say?
How would you approach that? Like you see Mouse has this information. How would you approach like kind of figuring out what it is and what it's used for and all that other stuff?
Well, I'd probably politely ask if when she's kind of like spreading it out and I kind of notice what it is, like, excuse me, if I were able to take a look at this, I might be able to decipher some of it. It seems like some sort of chemical composition.
Uh-huh.
And with a little bit of time and research, I might be able to piece a clue from it together.
Oh my god, just take it!
So the medicine check here specifically is gonna be a hard check because this is pretty high level advanced stuff that this paper is dealing with, and obviously it's important because it was being kept in a safe, like in her house. It wasn't at work in like the secure files, right? It was kind of tucked away. So why don't you go ahead and roll a medicine check whenever you're ready.
Well, we'll start by, we got plenty of these, so we'll flip one.
I'll upgrade one to your side, no problem.
Oh.
Try and get some information. Is that die pool ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey. Ooh. So I do want you to take the strain in this situation.
Okay.
All three of it. And the reason why I'm giving you 3 strain is because your success tells you what this is. This appears to detail a refining process for specifically for a hallucinogenic drug.
Okay.
And I think that the reason why this is so like straining is you realize that this refining process not only would increase the power of this drug, but also it would make it able to be hidden inside of normal substances. So for example, it could be easily, with this process that's detailed here in these documents, it could be laced into almost any food or drink. It could be ingested, it could be injected. It allows it to be utilized in multiple different ways, sort of similar to like how crack cocaine works nowadays. Like you can ingest, or you can smoke it, or you can inject it, or you can snort it. Like there's a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, how do you know all that?
How do you know so much about crack cocaine, Jordan?
Because I've watched The Wire. Okay.
You can't believe everything you see on TV.
Such a good show.
It really is, though. It really is. And so they call this, or at least it's given like a street name in this documentation, and it's called
Fluffy Waffles.
No, it is. No, it is not. It's called Morbid is the name that it is
that's
given.
morbid.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
So, and that's probably like 1 or 2 of the strain. The other strain here is, actually, you know what? I want you to make me a discipline check. I'm gonna make it average, but this is to kind of like resist some feelings that this is going to cause on you. I'm just making it an average check.
Learn that
but,
Zian's a drug addict.
I am.
This year to go brew some up and get high.
I am gonna upgrade it once for free though, because there is a potential that this has a bad reaction.
Okay. So
Whenever you're ready.
Discipline.
Good, perfect. So you fail the discipline check, which means you will have some sort of like physical reaction to this, or at least emotional reaction, because the second half of the documentation details human trials. And
Sentient trials.
Yeah, sentient trials, xeno trials, right? Where it appears that, according to this documentation, tests have been conducted, both, scientific studies have been conducted on patients, they're called, to judge the effects under different circumstances. And it ranges anywhere from children all the way up to the elderly. Total effect here is probably maybe 24 people that are detailed in like all the minutiae is here about how exactly they reacted. It looks like in the early stages about 50% of the patients actually died due to complications from this. And eventually it was refined to a degree where it was like 2% negative consequence.
So this person does need
So this there was never any like pretense of, oh, this might be a cure for something, and they're taking it to like terminally ill patients to do like the type of trials that are, they're risky, but you don't have anything else to lose. This is just like them sneaking it on like some unsuspecting kids.
So it seems like the authors of this research data seem to have taken great care to kind of run the gambit, as it were, where probably some of the patients do appear to, they have listed, because it's basically medical records, they have listed that there is like terminally ill, like there's certain types of cancer that were monitored under the effects of this. But all in all, it also seems like there were perfectly healthy people that were used as a base, just to see generic side effects of this. And I think that the other thing that's interesting about this is there are a couple of the medical records that have waivers, and a couple that don't have any documentation of any waiver. In fact, it probably says patient was observed through daily activity, doing XYZ, and maybe it said slept for X hours this night, woke up 2 times to use the restroom. Like, it is very detailed information about like their day, but never makes any indication that they are doing anything besides just living their normal lives. Like, it doesn't ever say like application given via injection at this time. It doesn't make any note of like the actual like given application.
These test subjects, human, non-human mix?
It's a mix. Primarily human, being the resident population of Druckenwell. But also a fair amount of Xenos as well.
Did the paper say anything of what they were trying to accomplish aside from just creating a hallucinogenic drug?
Yeah, so I think that one thing the paper details is the very specific request of the client. It probably says specific request of the client was to reduce risk was the primary goal, while not reducing the secondary effects. Not without diluting is probably like the terminology it uses.
Yeah, so client wants to make a drug that's going to keep its people, that's not going to kill its users so they can make more money.
Right, exactly. That definitely is what it seems like.
So there's probably, is there any hint as to who this client might be in the paper, or is it just like the client, the person, blah blah, everything very clinical and non-incriminating?
Yeah, everything's very clinical. It focuses way more on like the only time that's even probably stated is when you're reading like the outline of the research project, right? Like the outline says client, goals for research project are, client wishes that to reduce risk while maintaining, continuity of the product or substance, right? Like that's probably the only time it's even referenced.
So as I'm probably like reading this, I'm probably like getting angry.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely an
there's
anger
probably like probably the people in the room start hearing some weird like rattling, and like things that aren't nailed down are probably starting to kind of shudder a little bit.
Yeah, there's like a coffee cup with a spoon in it in the sink that's just kind of like ding, 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 like rattling a little bit, sure.
And then when I get like as I finish reading, probably some stuff kind of levitates up and then drops, just kind of as like a accentuating the like the disgust.
The punctuation of the sentence that is inhumane testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then kind of turn to everybody and explain what
info dump all the things that were just said.
Yeah. And just like this is disgusting.
It's probably about the demeanor in the room after that's
like I don't
explained.
have anything to say to that.
Yeah.
Like that's shitty. Like I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about that woman that you barricaded in her room, Mouse, and that she may be directly involved with something like that.
That she might be like a nah.
Sociopath, maybe? I don't know.
Perhaps.
Or probably just some nerd who's like, oh, this is a cool problem to solve. Let's solve it.
Is there any evidence that is Delgado is?
I know I was dealing with
this?
Moira from Overwatch all of a sudden.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Ken?
Is there any evidence that Miss Barlow is involved with this? Or is it just file found in her office?
So I think that specifically for any of the conductors of this research, it simply assigns them Researcher 1, Researcher 2, Researcher 3. There's probably no names associated with any of the conductors.
So on the list of people that we're supposed to be working towards finding or whatever, how many of them would have any sort of expertise in this field?
Well, definitely the captain of the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Say that again?
I said definitely the captain of the Drug Enforcement Agency.
What was Mouse's question that you respond? I heard you say definitely the captain of the Drug Enforcement Agency. I feel like I missed a question that was a response.
If anyone would have any expertise with this sort of thing.
Like anybody would be in, like who would theoretically be involved besides Paola, because like yeah,
I mean, here's the thing: if anybody dies from some sort of chemical substance, Amaranto would 100% be involved in some way, especially if it was like some brand new thing that nobody'd ever seen before. Like there would definitely be records of that somewhere.
Okay. I guess continue to research then.
Yeah. So
are we able to find these